Hi, everybody. My name is Raymond Pintor, and I'm doing a presentation on advanced care planning in the community of Papakolea. Why advanced care planning? Advanced care planning is like legal paperwork that deals with end of life issues. And the sad thing is that most people's personal wishes are not known in most families. Usually, the bigger the family, that can complicate situations. And most of the time, the law gets involved, usually through probate. And it's safe to say that not too many is ever prepared for any death or unexpected death. So the importance of, or how important it is to have advanced care planning in the Papakolea, you got to understand that in a place like Papakolea, it's a Hawaiian homestead land and families need to name a successor to be able to continue the lease within the family. But the strict part about that, though, is that there's specific qualifications on who can succeed. Also, there's other issues. The other issues that needed to be addressed were medical decisions, who's financing the funeral, and other things like who's going to inherit what. So the study that I conducted, I did a literature review about advanced care planning and also a qualitative interview with the friendly people in Kula about 6 community healthcare workers. And the main topics that I covered was the importance of advanced care planning, cultural barriers, and the need for more training. In my literature review, um, so most likely end of life wishes would be more important if somebody already experienced that in the past. And then another thing was that if you didn't have the conversation, it wouldn't, the end of advanced care planning wouldn't seem important, but most of the time it's needed to actually get it done. Cultural barriers in regards to advanced care planning would be that if you come from in one study, if you come from a place where you're more of a student than you are more of a professional in a culture, then you're more likely to easily to have that relationships to have the discussion. But in another study, cultures sometimes vary in generation, and like if advanced care planning is not done, what the elderly or what the generation about to go wants isn't necessarily the same as the what the generation before is going to really adhere to if nothing's in writing. In regards to training, so that some community health workers in one study um, wanted more standardized training, and in another study in regards to training, you got to keep in mind that in hospitals, a lot of people just stick to their trade, like doctors being doctors, nurses being nurses, physical therapists being physical therapists. And they never really push advanced care planning because it's not something that's primary on their job. But on the interviews, though, in regards to advanced care planning, um, majority of the times, if a death happened, it would spark some importance to actually get advanced care planning done. And it got even deeper that advanced medical directors, power of attorneys, and living wills would be the things that are more important to address. So things like life insurance wasn't really primary, but it did get brought up. Culture in regards to cultural barriers, like one of the previous studies, advanced care planning wasn't really discussed in family, and it's mainly because if you talk about it, the elderly will normally question, "Why do you think I'd be dying?" And then, in order to discuss things actually with the community, though, through community healthcare workers, the relationships needed to be set. And if you were thinking you were more of a professional in that person's culture versus somebody who was just, being a more of a student or learning, about their culture, it was easier to set that relationship. In regards to training, though, um, most people, most people that didn't have someone pass, uh, they would actually require more training because the ones who had someone that they loved die before, they kind of kept on doing more types of advanced care planning, like advanced medical directives, which is the primary one in powers of attorneys. But the interviewees also discussed about getting updates on different types of products that deal with advanced care planning. Like one thing that got brought up was like a Susie Orman kit or kits that you might find on something like Zoom to discuss like putting things in on living wills and stuff like that. So a conclusion that I came up with though was that it was somewhat similar, the literature reviews and the interviews, but it did have its little differences. And because I am a social work student, um, you would in order to benefit individuals, this gives them peace of mind so that they can ensure that their families are taken care of if you do advanced care planning. Families can on the families on the group level can actually have their peace of mind too because they'll know how to react in case somebody in their family dies. And then on the community level, if the community keeps on educating, especially um, the elderly and younger, um, you having a plan will help a lot and make transitioning at end of life for someone who passes away easier. If you have any questions, I'll be at the symposium. These are some of my resources, and thank you very much.